What's up guys, Mike here, the Detroit Borg with a look at the Logitech K760 wireless solar keyboard. Now you may be familiar with the K750, which is really a desktop Mac keyboard. It uses, instead of Bluetooth like this keyboard, it uses a radio receiver. So it uses that Logitech unifying receiver which you plug into a USB port, which of course means you can't use it on an iPad or an iPhone or an iPod Touch. Now this can be used across platforms. Again, this is designed for just Mac product or Apple products, so the OS X products and your iOS products that support keyboards. So that includes the iPod Touch, iPhone, and the iPad. So taking a look around, this retails for $79.99. It has two major features which distinguish it from most keyboards, including Apple's keyboard, which is solar charging. So with solar charging, this will charge either in natural or artificial light, hold a charge for about 3 months in complete darkness. So you don't need light in order for this keyboard to work. It stores the charge. This also has quick switching between devices. So you can pair this up to 3 devices simultaneously. So in this example, they have an iPhone, an iPad, and a Mac, and all you have to do in order to switch between them is to press these buttons here. And we'll show you how to set it up once we get it out of its box. So let's go ahead and take a look around. So in our box, within a box, we have our solar keyboard with this little handy tab here to lift it out of its box. Very simple packaging. We'll take a look at that in just a minute, see what else it came with. So we have some literature, Logitech important information, which we don't really care about. And we have Getting Started Guide, which is basically our setup guide on how to set up our keyboard for the first time, and we'll show you how to do that. Now, taking a look at the keyboard itself, we have this little plastic cover on the front panel protecting that shiny silver colored finish. Now in terms of design, this is plastic construction, so it is very lightweight, weighs about 1 pound and an ounce, so it remains fairly portable. It is fairly thin, although you have a permanently fixed raised portion back here, so you can't fold it, but of course that's less to break, so you don't have folding feet that might break off when you're transporting this. The material, again, is plastic, so if you look, it looks like it's aluminum, but really it's just plastic coated with a sort of aluminum finish underneath. On the back you have this white matte plastic, which I'm not sure how well it will hold up to dirt and grime, but at least the parts that interface with your desk are protected with these rubber bumpers. Overall, the design is fairly attractive, pretty simple. Of course, dominated by this very large solar panel to charge your batteries. Now taking a look around the keyboard, you can see on the front we have our chiclet style keys, which are very familiar territory here. This looks exactly like Apple's Bluetooth keyboard, same sort of functionality, same sort of low profile design. It feels about the same. It feels just like the K750 keyboard I've reviewed previously. Now taking a look at the keys up here, we have our switch for turning the keyboard on and off. We have our eject button and our keyboard button for invoking the virtual keyboard on the iPad, for example. We have our volume controls and media controls, so play, pause, no skip forward or back. Now we also have our battery status indicator here, so you can see it lights up green when it's fully charged and it will blink red if it needs a charge. We have our screen brightness controls. We also have our home button, which is unique to iOS. Of course, that will not work on the Mac. And we have our mission control button for OS X. Up here we have our assignable keys for assigning our Bluetooth devices, and we have our standard controls everywhere else, including our standard OS X controls down here on the left and right. Otherwise, it's a pretty familiar keyboard. We also have our Bluetooth pairing button, which is what we'll use to set up this keyboard on our devices. Now pairing this to an iOS device is pretty simple. We're going to start with an iPad. So first thing you need to do is turn on the keyboard. So you can see it turns green, letting us know it's on. Now all you have to do is press the Bluetooth key on the back. Press the button you want to assign this device to. In this particular case, I want to assign the iPad to Bluetooth key number 1. So now you can see it's blinking blue. Now on our iPad, all we have to do is go to Settings, go to Bluetooth, and you can see it sees the Logitech K760, not paired right now. So we're going to tap that, and now it's connected. So it's simple as that. So now I can start using my iPad with the keyboard. So let's go to Notes. Now next up, let's go ahead and connect our iPhone. Again, I'm going to press that Bluetooth key. You can see it's disconnected from the iPad, and you can see my numbers are blinking here again. So I'm going to press number 2. I'm going to go to Settings, go to my Bluetooth settings here. I can see Logitech K760, connect to that, and we're paired. So now I can start using the keyboard on my iPhone. So again, let's go to Notes. Now our next device is a Mac. So in this case we have a MacBook Air. We're going to go up to the Bluetooth control in the system panel, go to set up a Bluetooth device, and you can see all we have to do now is press the Bluetooth button on the back of the keyboard. You can see it automatically appears. I'm going to press number 3 on the keyboard, click continue, and now we have to type this number into the keyboard, 786574, enter, and we're all set to go. So now we're connected. Works pretty good. Now just to show you how easy it is to switch between all of these devices, again for number 1, all we have to do is press the number 1 key. You can see it blinks in blue. So that takes me to my iPad, so I can start typing there. And I can press the home button to take me home. So it works pretty good. And you can see it's actually disconnected from the MacBook Air. But if I want to reconnect with the MacBook Air, again all I have to do is press number 3. Press the space bar and I can start typing there as well. Now if I want to get to the iPhone, press number 2. Hello, iPhone. Now just to demonstrate some of the controls up here which are specific to iOS, so we can invoke the virtual keyboard just by tapping this key. It doesn't disconnect from the iPad when it does this, it just brings up the virtual keyboard. So if you want to use that instead of the physical keyboard, you have that option. You also have your volume control here. We have your media control here. We also have mute, play. You control the volume.
Is our music business, and each of those two are
pause. We also have our brightness controls here, which do not work on the iPad, so you can bring that up. It doesn't quite work. We have our home button here, which will take us to our home screen. You can tap it again to take you to search. And if you double tap, it has the same functionality here, so it brings up the launcher. Now just to demonstrate this on the iPhone, again you have the same controls here. So you have your volume, mute, you have your virtual keyboard button here to bring that up or hide it. You do not have brightness controls again here, but you do have the home button here that takes you home. Double tap takes you to your launcher, or tap once to bring you to search, or however you have that configured. You also have your media controls, play, pause. You also bring up your volume, bring it down or mute it. Now for the Mac we have mission control. We also have our screen brightness controls, so down or up. We also have our media controls here, so we can play, pause, play, let's turn up the volume, turn down the volume or mute it, and we also have our eject button. Now we do lose a few function keys on the Logitech keyboard that are available to Mac users on the Mac keyboard. So for example, we do have our mission control key on the Logitech keyboard as well as the Apple keyboard, but we don't have our launcher key, or this used to be the dashboard key before OS X Lion, but this is now a launcher key on OS X Lion and Mount Lion. So that's not available on the Logitech keyboard. You also lose some of your media controls, so for example the reverse and forward buttons. But otherwise you have everything else, including your eject button, your brightness controls, your volume controls, that sort of thing. In conclusion, I'm definitely a big fan of the K760, primarily for that easy switching functionality. I think that definitely makes it a good choice if you're looking for a portable keyboard. And certainly solar charging makes this a nice option. So instead of having to change the batteries, you basically just expose this to light and you're good to go. Now it does feel exactly like the Apple keyboard. It has the same chiclet design, feels and sounds exactly the same. This is exactly like the Logitech K750, which I really like. So that's definitely a good keyboard as well. So if you like the Apple keyboard, if you're familiar with those keys, this is going to feel identical. Now it doesn't feel as rigid or sturdy as a unibody keyboard from Apple, but again it's pretty nice and lightweight and comfortable to use. So in conclusion, I definitely recommend it, especially if you want that switching functionality and that solar charging capability. So that's going to do for me, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.